An array variable is a named group of contiguous memory locations. Contiguous means that they are located next to each other. From program perspective, one-dimensional array is a list. An array contains a number of elements into which items of data can be placed. Each element has an indexed number. To declare an array, for example, in Visual Basic, you need to specify its name, its data type, and the size. That is how many elements it will have. To declare an array of 5 elements, you need to specify a size of 4 because the elements are numbered from 0. Arrays are said to be zero-based. To access an element of an array, for example, to assign a value to it or to change its content, you can refer to the element by its index number. Typically, an array variable is used to store related data items, and the program will access each of these in turn, perhaps to search for a particular item. That's why arrays are normally manipulated with iteration constructs, such as do-while or for next loops. An array can have several dimensions up to 32 in Visual Basic. A two-dimensional can be visualized as a table with the horizontal x dimension and the vertical y dimension. The command syntax for declaring two-dimensional arrays vary slightly from language to language, but for most languages it is essentially the same. In Visual Basic, the syntax including the name, the size of each dimension, and the data type. For example, to declare this array with name people, we would use this command. Accessing an element of 2G array is just a matter of specifying the correct coordinates. For example, to assign the value foo to the element with the coordinate x equals 3 and y equals 2, you would write this command. In this example, each row of the array contains the details of a famous person. To access each item in turn, you need a loop inside a loop. Here, we can see that the outer loop is visiting each of the 9 rows one at a time. We're scanning down the vertical y dimension of the array. But for every pass of the outer loop, there are 5 passes through that each element with the row is visited in turn. Two-dimensional arrays variables are particularly used for holding tabular data such as this. In real-world application, a 2D array such as this might be initialized with the data from a database to table because the array data is being visited row-wise, but scanning column-wise would be a simple matter of swimming around the inner and the outer loops. Of course, the order in which you visit the data depends on what you are trying to achieve. For example, you might scan down the second column to locate behind the scenes, as is the case with one-dimensional array. Two-dimensional arrays data items are stored in contiguous memory locations. Well, sort of. Computer RAM is a linear structure, so two-dimensional array data cannot be totally contiguous. It needs to be stored in the RAM. Here we can see the priority was to keep the data in each row contiguous. The programming language that set this up is said to be row major. C++ and C# and Visual Basic are examples of row major programming languages. The programming language that set this array up in memory, however, is said to be column major. You can see the property was to keep the data in each column as close together as possible. Most programmers do not need to concern themselves with the way that the array data are physically located in the memory. But if you are trying to eke out a very little bit of performance from an application, you may want to know if your language is a row major or a column major.